Hello friends, welcome back to channel Civil Engineering Academy. In today's video, we are taking 50 back-to-back questions and their brief explanation of topic estimation and costing. If you like the content of video, please like it, share and subscribe the channel. So, without wasting time, let's start. Then question number 1, what is the purpose of estimation in construction projects? The primary purpose of estimation is to determine the probable cost of project before its execution. It includes the cost of materials, labors, machinery used, overheads and profits. It is essential for preparing tender documents, determining the project feasibility, budget allocation and the financial planning, and controlling and managing the cost during the construction. So this is the purpose of estimation in the construction projects. Question number 2, what are the types of estimates used in the construction? There are different types of estimates depending upon the type of work we have to do. Then there is a list of some types of estimates, like first one, preliminary estimate, or we can say it is a rough estimate, and it is used in the early stages to check the project feasibility based on the similar projects. Then second type of estimate is a plinth area estimate, and it is based on the area covered by the building at a plinth level. The next type is cube rate estimate, and it is based on the volume of the building, that means the length, breadth and the height. The next type of estimate is a detailed estimate, in which we prepared after finalizing the plans and designs, include all items of work with the quantities and rates. The next type of estimate is revised estimate, and it is prepared when the actual cost exceeds the original estimate by more than 5 to 10%. And the next and sixth type of estimate is a supplementary estimate, and it is prepared for the additional works not included in the original estimate. And the next is annual repair or maintenance estimate, and it is prepared for regular maintenance of a building or structure. So all these are the types of estimates used in the construction depending upon the purpose of work. Then question number 3, what is bill of quantities, that is BOQ? A BOQ is a document, that is bill of quantities is a document used in tendering and the construction, which itemize all the quantities of work involved along with their units and rates. It includes description of each item, quantities of each item, unit of measurement, example square meter, cubic meter, then unit rate, total cost per item, and the BOQ, that is bill of quantities, helps contractors price the work and ensure the transparency and the comparability during the bidding process. The next question is, what is analysis of rates, that is AOR, and why it is important? Analysis of rates involves calculating the unit cost of an item of work by adding up the cost of materials, labors, tools and overheads or machinery if required. Then it's essential to fix the rate for various construction items, prepare estimates and tenders, and compare the rates across the different projects or regions. For example, for 1 cubic meter of concrete having the grade M20, analysis includes cost of cement, sand and aggregates, labor charges, mixing and the transportation charges, and overheads and the contractor's profit. So in such a way we analyze the rates, and it is important for all type of work. Next question, what is meant by contingencies in an estimate? Answer is, contingencies are a percentage added to the estimate cost to cover unforeseen expenses such as minor design changes, price fluctuations, errors in quantity estimation, and it ensures that small variation doesn't affect the overall cost of project. And now the next and most important question, it is required for all type of estimation, is a basic one. What are the units of measurement for the various works? And we'll take one by one the list of different type of works, like brick work, it is calculated in the cubic meter. Then plastering in square meter. Then RCC work in cubic meter. Then painting, it is in the square meter. The next earthwork excavation, it is in cubic meter. Then flooring, any type of flooring like a tile or marble, it is in the square meter. And next, door, windows, or we can say woodwork, it is in the square meter or in numbers. The next question, what are the commonly used methods of building estimation? And the main methods are unit rate method, plinth area method, cubical content method, bay method, approximate quantity method, and detailed quantity takeoff method. And these methods are chosen based on the project stage, required accuracy, and the available data. Now the next question is, what is the unit rate method of estimation? And answer is, this method uses the cost per unit, means per meter, per square meter, like this, and it is derived from the similar past works, and it is estimated like total quantities multiplied by unit rate, and it is useful for the road length, pipelines, or wiring estimates. Now the next question, explain the plinth area method in detail. In this method, the plinth area of a building is measured, and then a standard rate per meter square is applied based on the building type and the location, and adjustments are made for the building height, finishes, and the foundation depth, and it is suitable for early stage cost planning. Now the next question is, what is the cubical content method of estimation? This method is used for the multi-story buildings, and the volume of the building is calculated by taking length, breadth, and height, and a rate per cubic meter is applied. And this method gives a better accuracy than the plinth area method, especially where the floor height varies. Now the next is, what is a bay method of estimation? And in this method, a bay is a repetitive unit, that is example for classroom, rooms in hostels, hospitals, etc. Then cost of one bay is calculated, then multiplied by total number of bays, and it is useful for modular buildings like hostels, schools, etc. The next question is, what is the approximate quantity method? It is also known as the approximate bill method, and it calculates approximate quantities of measured items like foundation, walls, slabs, etc., and each multiplied by average rate. In this method, it strikes a balance between the accuracy and the efforts, and it is suitable for the budget proposals. Now the next question is, what is the centerline method in estimation? In this method, the total centerline length of walls is calculated, then multiplied by the width and the depth to get the quantity, and it is useful for the building with uniform wall thickness and simple layouts. It reduces the repetitive calculation. Now the next is, what is a crossing method in estimation? And this method is used when walls intersect. Deductions are made for the wall junctions, and each wall's dimensions are separately considered. It is a more accurate than the centerline method, but it takes more time. Now the next is, what is the out to out and in to in method? These are wall measurement techniques. Out to out is used for external walls. It includes full width, and in to in, it is used for internal walls. It is measured inside the finish face to finish face, and it is essential for precise RCC and the brickwork quantities. Now the next is, how do we select the best method of estimation? And the answer is, actually selection depends on stage of project, then complexity of structure, then time and accuracy needed, then availability of drawing data, and thumb rules are use preliminary method for feasibility and use detailed methods for execution and tendering. Now the next is, what is IS 1200 and why it is important in estimation? IS 1200 is a series of Indian standard codes that provides a guideline for methods of measurement of building and civil engineering works. It ensures uniformity in measurement, transparency in buildings, and avoidance of disputes in the contracts. Now the next question is, what are the rules for measurement in brickwork? Rules to do brickwork measurements are measured in cubic meter. Deduction made for the opening was 0.1 meter square. and no deduction for opening less than 0.1 meter square. Then ends of the beam post up to 0.05 meter square and the mortar thickness included in measurement. Now the next question is, how is the plastering measured and what are the deductions? Plastering is measured in square meters and opening over 0.5 meter square should have deduction, and opening less than 0.5 meter square have no deduction. Then no deduction for the ends of beams, columns and small holes. In such a way the plastering is measured for the estimation. Now the next question, how is RCC work measured? And RCC is measured in cubic meters and it includes shuttering, centering, concrete pouring, and it excludes the reinforcement steel. Reinforcement steel is measured separately. Now the next question is, what is the unit of measurement for steel reinforcement? And it is measured in the kilogram or metric tons. Quantity calculated based on bar diameter, bar length and number of bars. Wastage is added. Usually 3 to 5% wastage is added. Now the next question is, what is the rule for measuring painting work? And answer is, it is measured in square meter. Multiple coats like primer plus 2 coats counted as a one job unless specified, and area of doors and windows counted from shutter size and coefficient. It is based on the type, panel, glaze, etc. Next question, what are the deductions made while estimating the plastering work? In plastering work, estimation deductions are made for an openings over 0.5 meter square like doors and windows, and no deduction for opening less than or equals to 0.5 meter square. Ends of the beam, posts, etc. up to 0.1 meter square, no deduction is there. And plastering is usually calculated as plaster area is equals to length into height into number of sides, usually 2 sides. What are the general rules of deduction and additions in measurement? And answer is, there is no deduction for small openings, means openings less than 0.1 or 0.5 meter square depending on work, and ends of beams or posts up to 0.05 meter square. Then additions are made for extra features like moldings, cornices, etc. and the projections or offsets, and always measure to nearest 0.01 meter square for area and 0.001 cubic meter for volume. Now the next is, what are the main components of rate analysis? And answer is, quantity of material, wastage and the transportation, labor charges, mixing and operating cost, tools and the equipment charges, overheads approximately 5 to 10%, and contractors profit usually 10 to 15%. Now the next question, what is the purpose of rate analysis in tendering? And it is important to set justified rates for each item, to avoid underquoting or overpricing, to estimate profit margins, and to allow the comparison between the contractors' bids. Then what is the typical percentage of the contractor's profit in the rate analysis? And it is usually 10 to 15% is added over total cost to cover the contractor's profit. Next question, how do we include the transportation cost in the rate analysis? And answer is, transportation cost is calculated based on distance from the source to site, quantity and the weight of material, then vehicle rent and the loading or unloading, and included as a lump sum or the per unit addition. Now the next question is, how is the labor cost calculated in the rate analysis? And answer is, labor cost is equals to number of labors multiplied by the wage rate multiplied by time taken, and in this way the labor cost is calculated, and it includes the skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled labors based on the task complexity. Now the next question is, what is the standard mix ratio for the PCC in the rate analysis? And the answer is, common PCC mix is 1:4:8, that is cement to sand to coarse aggregate. And the rate analysis includes material quantities per cubic meter, labor and mixing and placing and water curing. Now the next question is, how do you calculate the reinforcement bar cutting and the bending charges? And answer is, usually rupees 2 to rupees 4 per kg of the steel is added for cutting, bending and placing. This can vary based on the project size and the complexity. Now the next question, how do regional cost variations affect the rate analysis? And answer is, rates vary based on local material availability, then labor wage rates and transportation cost, the next climate and the working conditions, and hence separate standard schedule of rates, that is SOR, is maintained for each region and state. Now the next question is, what is the schedule of rates, that is SOR? And answer is, a document published by the PWD or CPWD containing official unit rates for all standard construction items, and it helps in budgeting public reports, preparing estimates and the contracts, and auditing and the verification. Next question, what is a bill of quantities, that is BOQ? A BOQ is a detailed document that lists all items of work with their quantities and the unit rates used in the project, and it serves as a basis for estimating project cost, tendering and the contracts, comparing contractors' bids, and controlling and the auditing during execution. The next question, what are the key components of BOQ? And answer is, item number, description of work, unit of measurement, quantity, unit rate, and total amount. And it may also include the remarks and the references to specifications. Next question is, who prepares the BOQ in construction project? And the quantity surveyors or the estimator prepares the BOQ based on final drawings, design specifications, site conditions, and standard measurement codes. Now question number 37, how is BOQ different from an estimate? There is a basic difference in between the BOQ and estimate is like this. BOQ lists all items with the quantities and estimate calculates approximate total cost. Then BOQ is used for tendering and contracts, but estimate is used for budget and the cost planning. The next is, BOQ is based on final design or drawing, and estimate can be preliminary or detailed. And BOQ is objective and itemized, and estimate may be lump sum or broad category wise. Now the next question is, what are the advantages of BOQ? And answer is, it's standardized bidding, then transparent comparison of contractors, then avoids scope ambiguity, and then helps in the budgeting and the fund allocation, and supports progress tracking and billing. The next question, how are quantities in the BOQ calculated? Then answer is, quantities are calculated from the construction drawings using center line method or cross sectional area multiplied by length for excavation, and length into breadth into height for volume items, and area, that is length into height, for the plastering or the painting, and accuracy is crucial to avoid the cost overruns. The next is, what is the use of BOQ during the construction execution? And answer is, it acts as a billing schedule, it helps in the verifying contractor claims, it tracks the project progress, and it forms the basis for running and the final bills. And now next question, can BOQ be modified after the contract is awarded? And answer is yes, but only with the justification and the client approval, such as design changes, site conditions, extra item or deviations, and changes are recorded through the variation orders or change orders. The next is, what is a running bill based on the BOQ? A running bill is a periodic payment request by contractors for the work completed so far based on the BOQ quantities, and it includes completed quantities, unit rates from the BOQ, previous payments, and the net payable amount. The next is, what are the factors affecting the choice of estimation method? And answer is, there are the different methods which affects the choice of estimation, like stage of project, then availability of drawing, then purpose, whether it is administrative or the technical sanction. The next is size and the complexity of the project, and funding and the urgency of the project also affect the choice of estimation method. The next question is, what is a contract in the construction projects? A contract is a legally binding agreement between the client and the contractor for the execution of specified work under the agreed conditions, including scope of work, cost or the payment terms, duration, penalties for delay, terms of completion, and it protects both parties and ensures the responsibilities are clearly defined. The next is question number 45. What are the main types of construction contracts? And answer is, the very first is lump sum contract. It is fixed price for the complete work. Then second type is item rate contract, payment per measured item, that is BOQ based. Then third type is a cost plus contract. It is based on the actual cost plus percentage profit. Then next is, that is fourth type, turnkey contract. In this, a contractor delivers a fully completed facility. And next type of contract is a labor contract, in which contractor only provides labor, client supplies material. These are the different types of a construction contract. The next question, what is a tendering in civil engineering? Tendering is the process of inviting bids from the contractors for the executing construction works, and it ensures competitive pricing, fair selection, transparency in the public projects, and the lowest qualified bid usually gets the work. The next is, what are the types of tenders? Then first one is open tender. It is publicly advertised and open to all. The next type is limited tender. It is sent to selected or pre-qualified contractors. The next is single tender. It is given directly to the one agency. And next type of tender is e-tendering. It is conducted online through government portals. These are the different types of tenders. The next question, what are the documents included in tender? And the list of document is like notice of tender, instruction to the bidders, then BOQ, that is bill of quantities, then drawings and the specifications. The next is general and the special conditions of contracts, and next is forms for bid submission. The next is question number 49. What is earnest money deposit? That is EMD. And EMD is a refundable security amount submitted by the bidders to show seriousness. If the bidder withdraws or defaults after bidding, the EMD is forfeited, and it is typically 1 to 2% of estimated cost. The next question, what is performance guarantee or security deposit? And it is the amount retained or deposited by the contractors, generally 5 to 10%, to ensure the proper completion of work, and it can be deducted from the bills, that is retention money and bank guarantee, refunded after successful project completion and defect liabilities period. Friends, thank you so much for watching video till end. If you really found the content of video useful, then please like it, share and subscribe the channel.